Good morning. This is 4-6 notes, part 1 for Algebra 1. And we start off this chapter in this section with this idea of relations and functions. So relations and functions. Now, a relation, okay, is any set of ordered pairs. So it's any set of ordered pairs. So what that means is an X and a Y, or we call this the input, and we call Y the output. And so X is the input, the X value is the input, the number what you put in for X is the input, and the Y value is the output. Okay? So all the inputs are called the domain. All inputs are the domain. That's a key word there. And then all outputs are range. So all the inputs are the domain. Okay, so there could be a bunch of numbers that is the domain. And then all the outputs, the Y's, is the range. Okay, so the Y values are the output. And the output is the range. So all the outputs make up the range. That's a relation. Now, a function, okay, a function is a special relation. This is, okay, a relation, make sure I get this right, okay, in which each value in the domain, a relation in which each value in the domain, so again, that's the inputs or the X's, okay? Each value in the domain is paired with exactly one value in the range, is paired. Okay, so this, what I'm referring to is pair here, is paired with exactly one element, okay, or one value in the range. Okay, so the range is the set of outputs, remember, are the Y values, the outputs. So all the outputs, those are called that's the range of the function. So a function is a relation, it's a special relation in which each value in the domain, or the X's, is paired with exactly one value in the range, and those are the Y values. So your X's and Y's, or your inputs and outputs, those make up the domain and the range. So we have to think about that with sets of numbers, like this is just all words, right? X, Y, range, domain, blah, blah, blah. But we have to make sure we understand this in context with numbers, okay? So again, relations and functions is the concept here in 4-6. And a relation I'm sorry, a relation is any set of ordered pairs, so some pair of numbers like x and y. The x's are called the inputs. The y's are called the outputs. Now, all the inputs are called the domain. So the set of inputs is the domain, and the set of outputs is the range. So a relation, a function is a relation in which each value in the domain is paired with exactly one value in the range, or the y's. So let's see what that looks like in an example. All right, here's an example. And here are 4 ordered pairs, okay? 6, 5, 4, 3, okay, and the third pair is 6, 4, and the fourth pair is 5, 8. Okay, and the question is identify, so tell domain and range and tell what tell if the relation, okay, so here's the relation is these 4 ordered pairs, is a function. So this is either yes or no based on the definition. A function is a relation in which each value in the domain is paired with exactly one value in the range, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called a mapping. Okay, with a mapping, what we do is we list the domain in a bubble. So here's the domain. All right, and the domain in this is all the x's, all the inputs, 6, 4, 6, 5. So 6, 4, now 6 is already listed, so we'll just list it one time. So 6, 4, 6, we already have 6, and 5. Okay? Oops. And then the range, okay, the range is 5, 3, 4, 8. So 5, 3, 4, and 8. So what we do now is we map it. Okay, we map each pair to each other. So 6 is mapped to 5. See it there? That's this mapping right here. I'll only highlight it once, but okay? Then 4 is mapped to 3. And then 5 is mapped to 8. And then 6 again is mapped to 4. All right, so 6 to 4 is right here. Now, back to our definition of a function. And the definition of a function is a relation in which each value in the domain is paired with exactly one value in the range. So is there an x that has 2 outputs, is paired with 2 y's? And there is. It's 6. 6 is paired with 4, and 6 is paired with 5. So this is not a function, so no. Okay, this relation is not a function. Now, why? 6 has 2 outputs. Okay, 6, it's kind of ran out of room there. But 6 has 2 outputs. And if an input or a part of the domain has 2 outputs, like 6 does, then the relation that we see is not a function. And we can see it here. There's 2 of the same x values, the 6's, and each one of those x values has a different y value. One of them's a 5, and one of them's a 4. So we can see that that's not a function from the ordered pairs too, okay? So that's the first part of the lesson.